All right, so we are in. Now, this is basically your timesheet, and this is where you're going to be working. And so what you'll want to do, one of the first things that I did when I was starting out with this was that I saved the location of this to my address bar. So I'm just going to pause for a second and open up my browser so you can see what this looks like. All right, so we're back in the browser now, and you can see if I go here and I take this and I just drag it down in here, I already have one for my main account. This is just a test account. And so when I drag it in here, anytime that I click this, I'm going to open this. So while I'm working, I have this open actually the whole day, and I'm just going in and filling in my tasks as I go through the day. And you can right click on this and go to edit if you want to make the name shorter. So I just call this like dad, and I just, it's called dad because you delete, automate, or delegate your tasks, and it just makes it really easy to remember. So when I save it like that, there it is. It doesn't take up a whole lot of room. And again, you just select what you want, and you want all the way to /tracker, and then you just drag it onto your bookmarks bar. All right, I'm going to go back into full screen. All right, so the first thing that you're going to want to do, just to orient you, so this is your timesheet basically, and then there's reports, which we're working on dialing in the reports, and those are going to get a lot better, but you can still get most of the insight, most of the value just out of using the timesheet. So first of all, these three dots, this is where you can see your monthly wage, and if you needed to change it, you can do so here. So if I wanted to say it was like 3,000, you can see it's updated. Oops, it's saying 300. And as this blue bar is going on the top, that's when things are saving. But I'm just going to leave mine what it actually is. And so if you made a mistake or you gave yourself a raise or whatever, you can change it. Now, the next thing that we want to do is go to the business editor, because the way this works is that you have a business, and for me, I have multiple businesses that I'm working on. For you, you might just have one project, or you might have different clients. There's a lot of different ways that you can use this, and the best way to think about these businesses is there are containers, and then inside of that container or the business or the project, there's all these like sub projects that you have. And so when you go to the business editor, you can set this up. So just hit the plus, and the first business name is going to be called TikTok. And you can set your color, and I'll set it to blue because it's the color of the app. And there's two categories here, business or personal. So the business categories will track your time as a business task, and personal will not track your time. That's the intention behind this. And the reason why you want to do this is so that you basically want to be tracking your business time, kind of like your billable hours, and you don't want to be tracking your personal time. So for example, when I'm making coffee in my home office, I don't track that as a business task. I track it as a personal task. Or if I'm going for a run or a workout or whatever, I track that as personal. But my business tasks always get tracked as business, and that way I can calculate my hourly rate. And it's going to be very important. And so one of the philosophies behind this and the way that you have to think is that you want to be tracking the time and income together when it's really there. If you're unfocused and searching on YouTube, you should still track that, but you want to track it not as a business task, but as a personal task, right? So first we're going to set up business TikTok, and we don't have any default state for it. We're just going to save. And if let's say you had a business and all of your tasks on that business were, keep, delegate, automate, or delete, then you could set it up there. But once we've set this up, if we double click these three dots, then we can go into the projects and we can add some different projects. So I know for this business, I might have like bookkeeping tasks that I do. I definitely would have meetings. I'll have feedback when I'm working on the app, and there's a bunch of other things that you could fill in. So I'm just going to pause the video right now and fill in a couple more things here. All right, so I've got all my projects in here now: bookkeeping, meetings, feedback, marketing, research, reporting. And you can put whatever you want here, and I can see some people wanting to put tons and tons and tons of stuff here, but try to just put things in as you need them. That's the way that I did it when I was working through this. And I think the project that I have the most things, I might have 10 different tasks that I do in that business. And again, these are like kind of the containers. And then there's a star here, and the star is used to put beside the projects that you want to spend the most time on. And we're going to be developing this feature out more in the future. So for example, I know that marketing is where I want to spend more of my time because that's going to lead to a breakthrough. Pretty much everything else here, there's not going to be any breakthroughs had for that. So now that I've done my project list, I can back out of here and I can just click to get out of here. So I'm just going to set up one other project here. And so let's just say Pencil Kings, one of my other businesses, and I'm going to change the color to red because that is the color of the logo. That's business, and save. Okay, so Pencil Kings, and I'm going to put in projects here and just say meetings. And I'll just leave it like that for right now. Okay, so now I've got two projects set up, and I'm going to set up one personal one, and I'm going to call my personal project break. And that's just what I've called it since we started setting everything up here. And I'm going to, I don't know what color, I'm going to give it this kind of brown color, and save. And so in the break project, this is where I'm going to set up a couple different things. So here we'll have like exercise, family time, whoops, coffee, and I know what my breakpoints are because I've set them up. So okay, so that's pretty good. And again, you can set these up however you want. Right, let's get back into the app and actually tracking some time. So you can see here, so for TikTok, marketing is up top, and this is, again, we're going to be developing this feature out more, but this shows at the top your 3 most important tasks that you're working on. So that's basically, once you're set up, things are good to go, and it's very easy. Like I said, you just want to add those things in as you're working. So as you go through your day, the first thing you'll do is this clock here sets the start time, so whatever the time is. So right now it's 2:46, and then when you finish the time, you can click the end clock, and that will set the final time. So what you're doing here is first you select which project. So for this is TikTok, and this would be like, I don't actually have a proper project here, but let's just say this is a marketing task, and it's like make training video, and that's it. And then you would work on it, and then when you're finished, you would click this button. So I'm just gonna change this time here, and when you change the time, just click out, and you see the blue bar going up top, so it's saving things. And then when you click it, what it's gonna do is it's going to fill out the rest of your timesheet, and it's going to make a new row. And so then you can go in and fill out the next thing, whatever that is. You know, maybe I'm working on my other business. As having multiple businesses, I tend to switch tasks quite a bit. It's not the optimal workflow, but that just seems to be the way that things go. And I'm working on improving that now that I'm pretty hyper aware of how my time works. So here's what happens now with the app. So it told me here that I spent 30 minutes on this task, which is great to know. And based on my hourly wage, if you take 1042 and you divide it in half, that equals 521. And so let's say making a training video is not something that I need to be the person doing as the CEO. So then the last thing you want to do here is decide, what do you do with this type of task? And immediately there's not going to be a whole lot of value here, but over time, as you develop this and as you start tracking things and having insight, this is going to be worth a lot to you because it's going to help free you up. So let's say I put this in the delegate tab. Well, now I know that any of the tasks here that are listed as delegate, as I start to go back and review my time tracking, I can then see, hey, this delegate task is actually, if I could hire somebody for 1042, which is a pretty low wage, but if I could hire somebody for 1042, making this video would only cost me $5.21 to hire this out. And so what it's starting to do is change your relationship with time and the tasks that you have. And if you're like I was and I am, because I'm still using this tool actively every single day to improve, it's going to change that relationship. So you start to see what the true cost of things are, and then you can start to make better decisions, whether that be hiring someone or maybe you just decided, you know what, I'm just going to delete this certain thing, and then you can see how much time you would save per day or per week. So it basically, your job now is to go in and fill out your time for every single task. And what you'll notice when I click the clock to end this task, it automatically gave me a new row and it's filled out the start time. Whoops. And so then I would just go and, put whatever I'm doing. So meeting budget. I put that in here. And if you notice, there's a little drop down that appears as I'm clicking on here. So if you're doing the same thing over and over again, it's going to pull that in from the database, so you don't have to actually do the data entry there. So then once you're finished the task, again, you would just click this, and it's going to update this number at the end, and just one small thing there. And so then what it does is it calculates the total amount of working hours that you have in the day, and then if you had tasks that were break tasks, it's not going to count those against your working time. It's going to count those against your total time. So you get an idea of what your day looks like. For example, I hear a lot of entrepreneurs say, "Oh, I'm working 12-hour days," and I used to say the same thing myself, but when I actually started to analyze my time, what I found was that I was only really working about maybe 9 hours a day at the most, because I would have times in the day where I was unfocused. I would have times in the day where I just wasn't very productive. And so this made me become more aware of that. And so, like, for example, let's say you get distracted and you type in here, and this is an example that I would say I'm unfocused. And why was I unfocused? I would be on YouTube. And then when I started to see these YouTube times happening in my morning, which for me is my best times, then I said that these were now like delete tasks. I needed to get rid of them. And so what I ended up doing was making better decisions about my time, which was to set up a blocker for YouTube in the morning, because I can control myself. I might be fine and not go to YouTube, but someone else might send you a video or something, and maybe a coworker. And it's just that good reminder that when you click on the link, and then it will say like, hey, you shouldn't be on here anymore. And there's lots of different things that you can do to set up little blockers like that for yourself. But using this tool gave me that awareness, and what it's done is now made my mornings far more productive. So yeah, I'll just click this to end this, and then as you go through, the new day will pop up at the top here. So it's Friday today while I'm recording this, and had I filled out other days below, they would be down here. And then the last thing that you want to do with your day is you want to rate your day on how productive you were. And so when you click this little page icon here, you can give it a score on a scale of 1 to 10 of how productive things were. And just a side note, if you're on Macintosh, this scroll bar seems to show up a little bit different, so just know that you can scroll here. And you just fill this out, and it's a way that you can rate your day and then start to look back at your history and see like what was happening on days where you rated it higher and what was happening on days where you rated it lower. I found tremendous value in doing this for a lot of different things, but it gives you an area where you can fill in your notes here. So maybe today was like I would actually rate today a 7-day because I got distracted in the middle of the day. And it could be as simple as that, or if you want to write a much longer note, you can do that. And if you see this little thing floating here, this is Grammarly. So it's just letting me know that I've got some grammar issues here, but that's fine. And then just from doing this, it starts to give you the insights over time that you can see what's really going on, because I think that it's easy to feel overwhelmed and overworked. And what I found, and what the other people have been using this tool are finding for themselves, is that they start there overwhelmed or feeling overworked or feeling like not as productive as they want or not getting the results that they want, and they don't have something to point the finger and say like, well, this is why. Like, why are you feeling overwhelmed? And so this tool is designed to give you that insight, so then you can make those changes. Now, the other part here that I'm going to show you that we're building out and improving is the reports area. And so this is going to show you like what percentage of time you're spending on things, because I just only had delegate tasks. Let me just change something here. So I'm going to say this one was a automate. And then when I go back into the reports, it should, yeah, there we go. So I can see how my time is breaking down, and we're going to be working on developing this further so that it just becomes more helpful for you to see where time is going. And here it's broken down my projects, and this is sorted on a monthly basis. We may change this depending on what people are looking for, because this is a very new tool. But basically, when we went from the beta version of this to this newer version, which we're actively developing, we only had the timesheet, and the timesheet gave us a lot of breakthroughs just in tracking your time, because like I said, you're shining light on where your time is actually going. And the whole game of this, if there's one thing that I'm going to leave you with to think about, is that your job is to get this hourly rate here. This field is the one that you want to see going up, because if I'm able, even if my hourly wage is only $10.42 per hour, that's okay. It just is what it is. But if you can get your day so that you don't have to work that much because you got better at delegating, or you got better at automating, or you got better at deleting tasks that were just wasting your time, all of a sudden, instead of those 11, 12-hour days, what if you're able to get more productivity in, say, a 2-hour day? Well, then now you're looking at daily wage as the impact that you have. And so if I'm able to get all my work done in 2 hours, well, now I'm not paying myself $10.42. I'm paying myself like $40, just over $40 per hour. And so, like I said, this is the number to look at. So if I was to finish my day today, and let's say, I'm so good, I've got a rock star team because I hired some great people, and I got all my work done in 0.6 hours. It's like, well, you paid yourself on the equivalent of $138. That's pretty awesome. And so the game here is that you're trying to raise this hourly rate, and you can do that in two ways. One is by increasing your monthly wage. So maybe you come up with new ways to charge more in your business, or there's lots of different ways that you can raise what you pay yourself on a monthly basis. The other way that you can raise this score is by accomplishing more in less time. So I'm going to leave you with that, and we'll be, like I said, actively developing this. If you have any feedback, we would love to hear from you. If you want to email us at hello@tiktoklab.com. That's lab without the S. I can already see some people making that mistake. And once again, my name is Mitch. I'm using this tool just like you are, and I look forward to you having your own time breakthroughs. For me, it's been a huge game changer in just having that awareness of where my time is going. And I can't wait to tell, to hear what your breakthrough is, as well as to report back on some of the additional breakthroughs that I've had. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.